Joseph Valachi's tale is not merely a thread in the fabric of American organized crime, it's a key that unlocks many of its secrets. Born on September 22, 1904 in the East Harlem section of New York City, Valachi was introduced to a life of petty crime early on. The streets of the early 20th century New York were tough, and for a young man like Valachi, opportunities for honest work were often overshadowed by the allure of easy money to be made in the underworld. Valachi's entry into the world of organized crime began with small-time thefts and burglaries. It wasn't long before his activities captured the attention of more structured and influential criminal enterprises of the time. During the Prohibition era, when illegal activities became more profitable due to the demand for illicit liquor, Valachi started working for the Reina crime family, which would later become part of the infamous Genovese family. His devotion for the mob's cause and his propensity for violence quickly escalated his status within the ranks. By the 1930s, Valachi had become a made man, a full-fledged member of the Mafia, sworn to uphold the organization's code of silence, known as omertà. This initiation marked not just a personal milestone for Valachi, but also a deeper plunge into the clandestine operations of the Mafia. Valachi's rise in the Genovese family coincided with a tumultuous period in Mafia history. During this time, he became a trusted soldier for one of the most powerful criminal bosses of the century, Charles "Lucky" Luciano. After Luciano's imprisonment, Valachi remained a loyal foot soldier to the next in line, Vito Genovese. Genovese's notorious reputation for brutality and cunning in the criminal world was something Valachi emulated as he carried out the family's business. Joseph Valachi's journey through the labyrinth of the American Mafia's power structure led him to participate in and sometimes orchestrate some of the most significant criminal operations of his time. His hands were dipped in various illicit activities, ranging from the classic protection rackets to the more modern forays into the burgeoning narcotics trade. As a foot soldier for the Genovese crime family, Valachi was often at the forefront of these operations, ensuring that the Mafia's grip on the criminal underworld remained unchallenged. The culture of the Mafia in Valachi's era was built on a strict code of honor, silence, and loyalty. It was a time when the American Mafia was expanding its reach, solidifying its control over various illegal activities, including gambling, loan sharking, and labor racketeering. Valachi's own contributions to the mob culture were emblematic of the period. His adherence to omertà, the Mafia's code of silence, was unwavering, at least initially. He carried out orders without question, and his reputation for being a reliable soldier only grew with time. Valachi's very lifestyle and actions contributed to maintaining the culture of secrecy and brotherhood that was the bedrock of the Mafia's fearsome reputation. However, Valachi's staunch loyalty would face an ultimate test, leading to a drastic shift in his fate. The event that triggered the seismic change occurred in the grim surroundings of a federal prison. It was there that Valachi, serving a sentence for narcotics offenses, became consumed by paranoia and fear. The Mafia's intricate web of whispers had convinced him that a hit had been ordered on his life as part of an internal Mafia cleanup. In a tragic turn of events, he murdered a fellow inmate named Joe Banda, whom he mistakenly believed to be a mob assassin sent to execute him. However, Banda was not a hitman, he was just another prisoner. A case of mistaken identity that would unravel the tightly wound thread of Valachi's allegiance to the mob. This grave error was the catalyst for an unprecedented transformation. Faced with the consequences of his actions and fearing further retribution from his own, Valachi became the first Mafia member to break the sacred code of omertà. He turned informant, offering a treasure trove of information to the federal authorities. Valachi's testimony peeled back the curtain on the American Mafia, revealing its secrets, hierarchies, and the full extent of its national power. His cooperation with law enforcement provided a foundational understanding of the Mafia's operations and was a watershed moment in the nation's fight against organized crime. Once it became clear that Valachi was genuine in his intent to cooperate, the federal government took extensive measures to protect him. Recognizing the significant threat posed to him by his former compatriots in the Mafia, Valachi was placed under stringent security. He was transferred to a more secure facility, often kept in solitary confinement, not only for his own protection, but also to prevent him from communicating with potential Mafia contacts. When the time came for Valachi to testify, his safety was paramount. The hearings before Senator John L. McClellan's committee, part of a larger effort to expose and curtail organized crime in America, were a media sensation. Valachi was brought into the Senate caucus room surrounded by U.S. Marshals, ready to reveal the secrets that had been jealously guarded by the Mafia for decades. During the hearings, with the nation as his audience, Valachi outlined the structure of the Mafia, explained its language, and detailed the rituals of its clandestine operations. He spoke of Cosa Nostra, thus giving a name to the shadowy organization and confirming its existence. His testimony was not just a litany of crimes and names. It was a historical ledger of the Mafia's evolution and operations in America. The committee, headed by Senator McClellan, was riveted and horrified by the accounts, which shed light on the vast influence and reach of organized crime. The repercussions for Joseph Valachi in the criminal underworld following his explosive testimony were severe and immediate. By breaking the Mafia's sacred code of silence, omertà, he effectively signed his own death warrant within the organization. The Mafia issued a bounty on his head, reputed to be $100,000 at the time, marking him as a target for assassination by any mobster who could reach him. In the eyes of his former brethren, Valachi was a traitor, the very embodiment of their deepest fears, and a stark warning to any who might consider following his path. Valachi's life in prison after his testimony was one of extreme isolation and constant vigilance. He spent the remainder of his days behind bars, but these were no ordinary prison conditions. To ensure his safety, Valachi was kept apart from the general prison population, as the threat of retribution from Mafia associates loomed large. His existence was confined to a specially fortified cell, and his interactions were closely monitored and controlled. The protective measures around him were a testament to the significance of the secrets he had revealed and the danger they posed to his life. Joseph Valachi died of a heart attack on the 3rd of April 1971 in the Federal Correctional Institution, La Tuna in Anthony, Texas. His death brought to a close a chapter in the history of organized crime in the United States. He was buried in an unmarked grave, a final step to protect his resting place from any posthumous retribution by the Mafia. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more historical insights and tales from the darker corners of the past.